What if career disruption isn't about starting over, but about finally seeing your value clearly? This conversation will change how you think about your next move. Greetings, Rafael.
Hi, Selena. How are you?
Greetings. Let's just jump right in. How do you show up in the world? Career disruption isn't about starting over, but about finally seeing your value clearly. This conversation will change how you think about. Oops, we're going to run it back because my YouTube is on in the background from starting and it was not muted.
Got a
So,
mind of its own.
yes, we will edit that part. We will totally edit that part because this is live, but we didn't announce that we're going live, so we got time. We got time. And let me drop this here for you. Here's the link to the video. If you bring it up, make sure you mute your page if you know how to do that.
But
Okay.
I don't need to bring it up, right?
Okay,
Okay.
great. For anybody watching, give us a little grace. This is what happens when you're live. This is what happens when you're live and you don't get to check your checklist before you get started. Okay. Um, Raphael, let's take it from the top one more again. What if career disruption isn't about starting over, but about finally seeing your value clearly? This conversation will change how you think about your next move. Raphael, welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Selena. Good to see you.
Good to see you and good to be seen. Thank you. Let's jump right in. How do you show up in the world?
I love that question, Selena. Um, I'm showing up as a new person in the world. Um, so I'm showing up authentically. I'm showing up in service. And I'm showing up in a way that is bigger than it ever has been for me in the past.
I can hear a lot in your voice in answering that question, like a deepness. Um, Tell me more. Tell me more, because it feels like there's a journey that led you here. Tell me about the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I am the only child son of an immigrant disabled parent. My mother immigrated to the United States from Mexico in the 60s, and she came from a very large family, and she always felt small, um, but had big aspirations. And so I think I grew up with that sort of sensibility or that perspective
Mm-hmm.
um, throughout my life. And even though I have had successes in my professional and career life, um, I think I have always felt a little bit like being held back.
Mm.
Um, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to work on this book, on my book project.
Ooh.
And the book is all about this transformation of your career, but not by starting over like many books talk about. Many books talk about uh, reinvention. Um, m- what I talk about is about my journey, which is really around reframing my experience in a way that helps people see the value that you bring from a different industry into an industry where you have more passion. So I did that. I worked in financial services for about 15 years. I really just fell into financial services. It was not really what I thought I wanted to do. And after 15 years of having success in that space
Right.
and growing and developing products and networking and advancing and increasing my salary and compensation, et cetera, I really
Mhm.
found that I was not feeling fulfilled.
Mm,
Um, so I took um, this journey and these steps to reframe my experience so that I didn't have to start over from scratch. And I could take what I had done, move it into an industry where I had a lot more passion and where I felt that I could make a bigger impact on the world, and do it that way. So that's the journey that I've been on, and that's what the book is about that I'm working on.
that is rich. That is so rich. So there's three kind of areas that I want to delve into a little bit. Well, you threw out this book, so let's just get the elephant in the room first. Do we have a title?
So the working title is not finished yet, but the working title is 15 Doors.
Mmm, that sounds yummy already.
Yeah, so 15 Doors, how to change industries without starting over.
Ooh, woo! And are you really starting over? Are
No,
you? Yeah.
you're not. You don't have to. I think some books maybe advocate for that, or some career counselors maybe do that. But in my case, I didn't have to start over. And that was an intentional strategy that I took. So I'm a digital product innovator, and I've been developing products for about 25 years. Financial services, and then in the agriculture space with
Yeah.
tech startups. And then I intentionally transitioned into healthcare. I really saw that there were a lot of things that are broken in the healthcare system. And as a family caregiver for my mom who was disabled, I really saw the struggles of individuals trying to navigate our healthcare system, especially with limited resources. So I decided that there was a way for me to take everything that I'd learned in the 15 years in financial services and try to make a difference in healthcare, by doing some of the product strategy and product innovation best practices that I had followed in the past. I thought could be applied or can be applied in healthcare. So I talk about that in the book. And really, the concept is it's about um, transitioning through reframing your past experience instead of starting over.
I love this. Woo, it gives me chills because I can feel the passion that you have for this and the love and care that you have for your mother. How is your mother doing?
So my mom did pass in 2019, right before COVID.
Oh my.
Um, she had a good life, and I think the caregiving aspect that I stepped into very early in my life
Mm,
um, was a way to give back to her, to show her um, how I cared about her and loved her, and to honor her, and to honor her sacrifice in terms of coming to this country, really for the purpose of exploring,
mm-hmm.
and also um, to get away from that box that she felt that she was in.
Right, right, right. Yes, that I totally sense and feel that for you. And with that said, how do you feel like it's going?
So how's this second half of my career going?
Or getting away from that box?
Getting away from the box. Yeah. Um, Getting away from the box is scary, and it's fun. I think it gives me energy. I feel this sense of purpose now that's bigger than I've ever had in the past in my prior industry.
Yeah.
Um, right? So healthcare is an industry that is filled with people that want to help and heal others. And so I think I've stepped into my place. My name is Rafael, and uh, for those of you that may not know, the meaning of Rafael is really healer. So I think I'm doing
Mm.
what I was designed and put in the world to do.
I love that. I love this so much for you. The fact that as we go through life and continue on our journey where we're supposed to be, we end up, I believe that. And I love this for you and having the opportunity to have this conversation with you to learn more about your journey and this new path that you're on. Because I feel like the journey has, just different paths. The more that you stay on it, it'll take you down this path, it'll take you down that path. It's like, oh, and 15 doors sounds so apropos.
Yeah.
So apropos. Um, so one was your mom, one was the book, and where do you hang out? Like, what are you, tell us more about where you're going. Like how are you serving others now in that capacity? So one is through the book, but the day-to-day work, because I believe that work is very different from a job. Work is your purpose. When you're
Right.
when you're in your purpose, it never even feels like a job.
Right.
So tell us what that looks like for you.
Yeah. So um, it's sort of my day job now as the founder of Bold Digital Health, which is my fractional um, consulting company. Um, I help healthcare organizations, specifically mid-size or smaller hospitals or health systems, um, independent physician practices, state and local health departments. And I'm starting to also have some conversations with private equity organizations that are managing hospital systems. Um, and my work is around helping them innovate and really understand and develop digital product strategies that help them, hospitals, health systems, reach more patients, particularly vulnerable patients or patients with healthcare disparities, so that those patients can have a better experience and receive better care at their organizations. So it's all about it's creative work, it's strategic work, where I'm helping the organization really balance all the stakeholder needs at an organization, from patient care, the clinical side, to operations, to communications, to technology is a big component.
Mm,
Um, putting all those stakeholder needs together into a digital product strategy where the organization is able to develop digital experiences, basically any sort of engagement that you as a patient would have, where you would have that on a computer or your mobile device. That's really a digital experience. So I help organizations design those digital experiences in a way that maximizes engagement and reach for diverse populations.
I love this. So, are you able to tell us like some of those products that we may have experienced that you are a part of?
So I think the more consumer side of products that I built have been more on the financial services side. So I've
Mm-hmm.
worked for products that are still being used today that were built probably 15 years ago. So millions of customers have interacted with some of the products that I've built. On the financial services side, it's more specific to the specific organizations that I've worked with. So
Mm,
it's much narrower. So probably not something that most of the audience today would have used. Most recently, I worked for an organization called City of Hope, which is one of the national cancer institutes out in Southern California. where we worked on products and services for patients that had just recently been diagnosed with cancer. So that was very fulfilling work. I've also worked with products that were used internally by nurses at another organization called Conifer Health. And there we worked on uh, risk risk stratification and population health tools that basically help doctors and nurses identify highest risk patients and then create care plans that help patients make sure that they're going to their doctor's appointments and that they're adhering to their medication protocols, all with the intention of increasing healthcare outcomes so that patients are healthier, and also helping the organizations manage the cost of care.
I love that. So I am familiar with the Epic system, and in in my health journey, because I live with some chronic health conditions, and my chart. They call it my chart. Is that along the lines of kind of what you would do in the health space? Like with those systems and that kind of interface for the client, and I know some other names are like my patient and things like that. Is that along the lines to kind of give some context to what that
Sure.
could potentially look like or be?
Yeah, I think that would be a very common digital product or digital experience that most patients would be familiar with is a tool like MyChart. It's basically a healthcare portal
Yeah.
that we as patients would log into and then be able to interact with our providers, make appointments, message our providers with questions, schedule appointments, reorder prescriptions, etc. So that's a great example that most people would be familiar with. Other tools might be chatbot type
Ah,
tools that a health system might provide to their patients. So, for instance, um, there are tools for individuals that have recently had um, cardiac surgery, and the health systems will use some of these tools that the patient can take and use at home to be able to help with that immediate rehabilitation right after surgery. So helping check in with them. It might be an automated chatbot
ah,
approach that will coach the patient on what they should be doing every day for the next week. Also checking in with them in terms of any symptoms that they might be having, making recommendations for them in terms of when they should call their doctor if they're having a particular symptom that might be problematic. And so that would be another example. And
wow.
then there's also tools that health systems use internally. So maybe a physician portal that would be used by between providers and insurance payers, or tools that nurses and doctors might use every day to interact with each other and discuss a particular patient case. So it's basically any sort of computer-based, mobile phone-based engagement with how care is delivered.
I love that. I love that. What product are you most proud of?
Um, I think I'm most proud of the work that we did at City of Hope, which is where we used AI really
Mm,
to accelerate um, the speed at which we were able to care for patients
mm,
that had recently received a diagnosis. So we implemented um, some tools where we were able to accelerate a process that was taking about 3 weeks
mm.
to about 15 minutes using AI. And so that dramatically helped the way we were able to get patients support and guidance in that really stressful and difficult time.
Absolutely. That's like, woo, that feels like a total game changer. I'm actually having a sleep study done on Friday. I had been on the wait list so long, I forgot about it. Like stuff like that. It's like we need this information now, and I'm in all of this pain. I live with chronic, severe, acute pain, like to the nerve. And waiting that long and just getting that, when they tell me, well, we got to put you on the wait list, it just like creates so much weight, like I'm gonna be in pain longer. So I can't imagine for a cancer patient. I don't have anything of that nature. um that like just changes the game when they can get immediate. So 15 minutes to me is like immediate.
Yeah, exactly. And one of um one of the things that's happening in our
Hmm.
health system today, unfortunately, is that wait times for even just primary care, seeing your primary care physician,
Yes, and they only give you 20 minutes.
if that, it's more like 12.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. But those wait times are increasing even more than they have in the past. So
Yeah.
I think the average now is somewhere around um, like 12 weeks or something in order to be able to get in and see a primary care physician. Don't quote me on that number, but it's a number that has increased, and it's going in the wrong, it's going in the wrong direction.
Why
And
is it going in
so,
the wrong direction?
yeah. There has been for many years a lack of primary care providers just available, and that issue is even exacerbated even more in rural areas.
Mm,
So just there aren't enough physicians to go around for the level of service needs that we have across the country, particularly in those rural areas or in those areas where um, uh, there aren't enough specialists.
yeah,
Yeah, so it just takes longer to get those appointments. There are um, physicians and clinicians just kind of in general that are beginning to leave the health system. I think the numbers have increased
okay.
because of burnout, administrative burden, um, Uh, and so we're going to continue to have those issues. And so that's one of the reasons why now more health systems are using more nurse practitioners or physician assistants as a part of the overall care team. That's a way to be able to still be able to see patients with, the fewer MDs around.
Understood. So what are some ways that, in your opinion, that patients can advocate for themselves in this healthcare system, and what that looks like now? Because me personally, I was in a space where I wasn't feeling seen and heard, and like I'm fighting to be seen and heard. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so that's why I'm doing this work. Where I really focus on projects and opportunities and work with healthcare organizations that understand and want to amplify health equity at their organizations. They want to organizations that see a need to reach broader populations in a
Yeah,
way that where they can be seen and heard. Um, and so that's why I'm doing this work, and it's exciting. On the patient side, what I tell individual consumers, right? We're all consumers of healthcare.
right.
Um, Healthcare organizations need to do their side. Also, us as consumers, we really need to do our side and prepare. So there are three basic things that I tell consumer patients to do. So one is prepare and speak up, right? So track your symptoms before you go to your doctor's appointment. Write
Okay.
some questions down. Um, when you're at a doctor's appointment, clearly express your concerns and your questions. Um, and now with AI and many of the digital tools, it's much
Mm-hmm.
easier to get some guidance ahead of time to help you sort of think about what to ask
Yeah.
before you go into your doctor's appointments. The second thing that I suggest is really use the community.
Mm-hmm.
Get support from others that are having your experience. So learn from others' lived experiences. So there are communities like patientslikeme.com is a great portal where patients can log in, interact with other patients that have various conditions, and learn from them. Learn about treatments, learn about clinical trials, ask questions about symptoms,
Yeah.
and that really, I think, prepares patients to be able to have more informed conversations when they walk into the doctor's office. And then the third is really exercising your rights. You do
Yeah.
have rights as a patient consumer. So if, for instance, there's some treatment that has been denied,
Mm-hmm.
appeal it. There's an appeal process that you have a right to. Seek second opinions, right? So don't take the word of one physician that has seen you for 12 minutes to
Okay.
to give you a full perspective of what's possible for you and your treatment. Ask to see another specialist in that area that can help validate or give you some a broader perspective or a different perspective for what might be possible. So those are the three things: prepare and speak up, use the community and others that are having your similar experience, and then exercise your rights.
I love that. These are great. And you threw out a great resource, me.com, me.com.
No, the community portal that I mentioned is patientslikeme.com.
Oh, patients like me.
Yeah,
Patients like me.com.
that's right.
I love that. Are there any other resources of this nature that could be helpful that you might be able to share with us?
Yeah, so I'm a digital guy, right? So I'm always looking at new digital products.
Yeah,
I think one of the things that is really exciting and important that I've seen over the past probably 3 years is a growing emphasis in women's health.
yeah,
It's an area that has been chronically underserved for many, many years. And so it's good to see that there's a lot more tools. So tools like Clue. So it's available at helloclue.com. So CLUE, right? HelloCLUE.com. It's a tool that helps women really monitor and track symptoms around their menstrual cycle. There's another one called Flow.health.
mm-hmm.
Um, Kindara is a fertility and cycle tracking tool. Kindara. And so there's a lot more tools. There's some around breastfeeding. And then of course the ones that most people are familiar with are just the large language models, the chat, like ChatGPT and Claude. Actually, both of those have recently been upgraded with security, and those are now HIPAA compliant. So HIPAA is one of the rules, the regulations that helps protect our health information. And so both of those platforms now have been upgraded to be HIPAA compliant. So really what that allows is more of us to use those tools to
Yeah,
enter some of our healthcare symptoms or things that we're noticing, and have the tool give us some ideas of how we can prepare, how we can manage those symptoms, what types of questions we should ask our provider. And I would recommend that even though these tools are really great to helping expand our knowledge and prepare us, it's still important to get validation from a trained, medical professional.
agreed. These are phenomenal. I also heard that ChatGPT has ChatGPT Health in beta because so many people are asking health questions.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, physicians now are going to ChatGPT to help augment their knowledge and capabilities every day. So I think the world has changed, and now it's a matter of helping us as patients leverage the tools, and the also to help the healthcare providers, hospital systems um, to find ways to better share some of these tools or access to some of these tools and technologies with patients in a way that is accessible to them instead of creating kind of bigger digital divides. That's why
Agree.
the whole concept of health equity is important. Building digital products in a way that amplifies health equity instead of creating more of a digital divide.
Agreed. Um, Speaking of the digital, so one that you didn't mention that I'm curious about for women is menopause. Any
Yeah.
tools there or thoughts you can share?
I don't have any specific tools. You can check out some of the ones that I mentioned, like flow.health or helloclue.com or Kindara. And I think there you might find some resources there that might point to some other tools specifically for menopause. But I know an investor that I chatted with last week, as a matter of fact. She's really excited about the additional innovation in this space.
I love it. 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 Okay. Um, Couple questions that I typically ask, and I'm interested. You may have answered this, but I would love to see how you answer it. Um, I'm known as the disruptor teacher and coach out in these streets. So I want to know what the disruptor in you had to disrupt.
The disruptor in me. I think the disruptor in me um, was stepping out of the corporate shell, right? Or sort of the persona that I found myself operating in a corporate environment. Um, uh, Thankfully, becoming a founder of my own freelance consulting company has given me that additional freedom to be able to work on the types of projects and with the types of organizations that I feel are most aligned with my values and my passion. So I would say yeah, that disruption for me is definitely around finding a space, an opening, maybe through changing careers or not changing careers, but changing industries, um, to to allow you some freedom to step out of the box and be a more your more authentic self.
What did that take for you? Like, how did you go about that? Did it involve support from other people? Did you go inward? I'm always curious, like, what was the final thing that allowed you to take the first step towards that? What would you say that was?
I think sort of the trigger point, and I talk about it in the book, 15 Doors, is that I just got to the point where I was sitting in my office one day in a high-rise building in LA, and I thought about how, you know, I really asked myself, how much value am I providing to the
Hmm.
world
Yeah.
in this office, in this chair, in this
Hmm.
job, in this industry? And even though I had created products and advanced innovation and provided value to the customers in the financial services space, it didn't feel like it was enough
Yeah.
and that there was more to do. And so just sort of being in that space and in that curiosity and in that moment of question, I think that was the moment where it just triggered this confidence that I could do something different,
Yeah.
and that I needed to, um, and that sort of the world was calling me to do something different. And so that's when I started that journey of transitioning from financial services to healthcare,
I love
using
it.
some of those strategies that I talk about in the book.
I love this. So you do some heavy, deep work. meaningful impact and cause and effect. I want to know, what do you do for fun?
Um, I Innovation, creating new things, experimenting, that's what I do for fun. Aside with, time with my partner and family, travel, going out to nice restaurants and having a good time, socially with friends and family. Um, I really enjoy just innovating. And now with AI, it's so much easier for me as a non-engineer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really a business and strategy guy.
Yeah.
So in the past, as a product manager, I always had to depend on engineers to help now execute and build my vision for a product. But now with AI, I can get so much further on my own without having to rely on an engineer.
Well,
And
that
so
definitely
it's
makes the juices flow even more.
completely. So it's really fun just experimenting and innovating. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. I can see that because I create digital products too, not at the scale that you do. And what my bestie calls it, like I can systematize things. I can take something and systematize it, and I love that. Um, where can we find you? Where are you, darling? With the people that want to reach out.
yeah. So of course I'm on LinkedIn. So Rafael M, like Mark, Lopes, Lopes. I should come right up. You can visit my company website at bolddigitalhealth.com, or go to the book page and sign up to get the first chapter when that's released later in the year. And so that is at read15doors.com.
Oh, I love it. Read15doors.com. And who might be looking for you, just in case they don't know who you serve?
Yeah. Um, I think sort of the with the professional consulting work that I do, it's hospitals and hospital systems, clinics, individual physician groups and practices, and any other healthcare organization that's innovating and wanting to reach a broader, diverse audience of patients in order to grow.
Ashe,
So
ashe.
that's on the business side. On the personal side, it's anybody that wants to chat about just kind of the journey of translating your experience and using that to move from one industry to another, which is what I talk about in the book.
Oh, I love it. So if y'all didn't track on that, get the book when it comes out. Go to read15doors.com. Is that I say that right?
That's right.
Okay. Fantastic. I have one more question for you before we go.
Go for it.
Do you do you have any questions for me? I like to
Um,
flip the mic.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I think the one question for you is well, what are the ways that you are managing and like advocating for yourself in the healthcare system? You talked about your health journey with chronic pain. What do you do? What can you share with the audience about how you have a voice in the healthcare system?
That's a beautiful question and a beautiful mic flip. I love it. And it's right in your lane. Um, there are a number of ways. I create my own what I call self-love tribe. So that's part of that is my healthcare team. I have a psychologist. I have two psychologists. I'm also going to be getting a psychiatrist. I like innovation as well, and a big thinker. And so I wanted to build another name. Some people might call it like your board of directors and things like that. So self-love care is the lane and the lens that I come from, because I did not do that for myself. So I am intentional about creating the support that I need for me to be me, to show up to be me. I also lean into personal development and investing in myself so that the work that I do is me that's meaningful for me I can have someone help me do that as well. So I invest in coaching, mentorship programs. The way we met, Arlen Hamilton is a mentor, and then I'm in another coaching mastermind program with Rachel Rogers. Is no secret, most people know that. The Hello 7 community. I'm also a certified Hello 7 coach, so that I could do the work that I want to do also and serve and be supported. Those are some of the key ways. Um, yeah, those are some of the key ways.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thanks
And
for
my
sharing.
friend group. Friend group is important, but all of those communities allow me to be seen and heard and and have a voice in the conversation, especially with my health, with my healthcare providers. I seek specialists. I seek specialists. I have my primary care, and so that's how I roll.
Yeah, heavy into that number two item that I talked about earlier about really leveraging community, right? We're not on our own. In order to have a voice, it's good to have others that share that voice and that experience. And together, I think we can all feel empowered.
Absolutely, because you don't feel so alone. Community care is key.
Yeah.
It's absolute key. Raphael, thank you for your beautiful time. Is there anything else you would like to share before we go?
No, thank you. So I just want to thank you for inviting me to this conversation, Selena. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing up and saying, Yay! Well, that's our time. Until next time, you know what I want you to do? I want you to take self love care.